Hey, y'all, my name is Bryant Young.
And Derek Chaney.
Here with the Decent Dads Podcast. Brand new episode this week, folks.
That's right. Another good one with another great dad.
Yeah,
Ben
man.
Garwitz,
This is a longtime friend of mine, family friend, and was very excited. Ben, similar to a couple of other guys that we've had on, Ben has bigs and Ben has a little.
Yep.
There's a pretty big age gap between his kids, and it was fun to talk about.
It was. He started dadding, I guess you'd say, early 30s, and then became a dad again, early 40s.
Yeah, got to be the baby dad in
so
early 40s.
Hearing that experience, and then too, he's a big sports guy. You know, he talked a lot about sports with his kids, coaching them. You know, how he's encouraging them, what's working well for them. So that was all fun.
It was a lot of fun. It was a good episode. I think folks are going to enjoy this one, mostly just because my dad joke was so bad at the end.
Be sure and stay on for the whole time, because Brian's dad joke to end the episode was money.
Just the worst.
Yeah.
Just the worst. So without further ado, I think we just jump right into this thing.
Let's do it.
All right. Decent Dads Podcast. Here we go. Good evening, folks, and welcome back to the Decent Dads Podcast. We're here to tell dad jokes, drink coffee, and build a community of dads navigating fatherhood together. I'm Bryant Young, fearless leader, co-host, girl dad, and your friendly local insurance agent based out of Springfield, Missouri. And now, before we get started on today's episode, please help me welcome. He's a 6'3" sophomore shooting guard from small town Missouri. He wishes he was a first-team All-American, but instead, he's the coolest co-host with the most. A fantastic father of two and the home loan expert. Folks, put your hands together and welcome the incomparable Mr. Derek Chaney. How are you, DC?
Doing good. You know, it's a good day for a good day.
It's a beautiful day in the
I
Ozarks.
feel like I was just over here.
Yeah, like 12 hours ago.
So yeah, it's good to be hanging out at your place again.
Back in the basement after a catastrophic water leak in the room just over there. So if you guys can smell on the camera, there's a little bit of mildew going on down here. Don't worry about it.
Need that smell-o-vision.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. But no, you know, we got a great guest today. It's sharing some hoppy coffee with us.
Yes,
Mr. Ben Garwitz.
Glad you're here, man.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate
the
it.
fellow one ankle dad that I can relate to.
Right. Yes, we got to talk about that. Yeah.
We'll bring that up later. But Ben, yeah, we know you a little bit. Brian knows you pretty well.
Long time.
But some people might not. So if you will, you know, tell us who you are, what you do, give us your dad resume, tell us how many kids you got, what are their ages, and which one's your favorite.
Yeah, Ben Garwitz, 42.
Damn. Oh, sorry.
Appreciate that. You'll be there sooner than you think.
The only thing
That came out really
he's
quickly.
taller than me. He's better looking than I am. Only thing I can talk shit on is how old he is. It's the only thing I can do.
I work at Johnstone Supply or Hoffman Supply Company. We are a third generation HVAC wholesaler. Dabble in a couple investments as well.
Yeah.
Got 3 kids. Will 10. Oh no, I'm sorry, 11 after last week. So Will 11, Clay 8, and Lola 1.
Oh yeah.
Ooh,
Another thing I
quite
want to
the
talk
spread,
about.
yeah.
We took
the
a little
bigs and the
hiatus.
littles, baby. The bigs and the littles.
Big difference.
Yeah?
Big difference.
I
Can't
can
wait to
It's
hear
imagine.
about
fun
it.
though. It's
Yeah.
fun.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, man. I'm glad you're here. I've known Ben for ever, so
Couple
I'm
years.
very, very happy to have him on here. This is a long time coming. We started to talk about this in the break, but before we started filming, tell me about tantrums. I assume that you've got 10 or 11 years worth of experience, and all of a sudden you got a 1-year-old in the house again.
We've had them all, and we've had them at all ages. You know,
And
our
start back
oldest.
over.
I was thinking about this morning. Our oldest, we took him to see Inside Out as his first movie.
Yeah.
Nice.
And with about 20 minutes to go, he had been fidgeting for an hour, and the movie's an hour 10 or 20
Sure.
or whatever it is. And we finally had enough and picked him up. And as we're walking out, he goes, "Ah, damn it!" And a quarter of the audience just erupts in laughter because all the parents knew, hey, we've been there.
right? That's the best when they just know. Like,
It's like, great, in public. Way to go, son.
how old was he?
2.5.
Oh, it makes
Yeah,
me so happy.
Good vocab.
So
2.5.
yeah, exactly. It's like, where do you learn that? Well,
Kim.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me. Oh,
What
man.
about you, DC? Do you have any tantrums or anything? Oh,
yeah,
damn it.
Yeah. Well, mine's not going to top that.
That's so good,
my
though.
tantrum kind of rolls into my dad hack, though.
Perfect.
So I'll just go with both of them here.
Go for it.
So tantrum, it wasn't really like one specific thing, but Liam, for like I don't know, a week and a half, man, he was tough.
Mm.
You know, everything was a fight. He was being mean to his little brother. He was
Can't
being
have that.
rude to mom and dad.
Can't have that either.
You know, and so he's like, "What is going on? Like this just isn't like him." And we'd kind of already planned this. This is where we go into the dad hack. Was we decided, you know, and we talked about this last episode too. We decided we're like, hey, we need to do more one-on-one time with the boys, right? And so me and Liam, we'd planned, you know, a date night. Me and him. We got our hair cut, grabbed some food, went to the Springfield Cardinals game,
Sweet.
and then grabbed donuts before we headed home that night. And he was awesome the whole time we were there, except for when we was leaving. He wasn't a big fan of leaving, which it's okay.
Duh. There's
But-
baseball happening. I don't want to leave.
More like bounce houses at the
Well, that
baseball
too.
game. But then we get home and he's back to being his normal self. You know,
Sure.
sweet kid, good kid, and he's really been really good since then. And so, yeah, I think that one-on-one time just, you know, made a
Oh, cool.
huge difference for him. And it's funny because I know my wife, her love language is quality time.
Mm.
And so I'm starting to think Liam's love language is quality time because
Sure.
ever since then, I mean, he's had tantrums. Don't get me wrong, but it's not like a whole day ordeal thing, you know. So
Well, at least you can identify it, though.
right?
That's pretty good.
So yeah, we might have to try that again if
So
he
the
hits
dad
that
hack
phase.
is try to ID the love language a little bit, but also just some one-on-one time.
one-on-one
just
time.
one-on-one time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
into
a
it.
blast. I mean, just doing that with each kid too.
Yeah.
That's-
And make a priority for that.
I love it.
Yep.
Our tantrum. So we joked about it earlier, but last night in our home we had 6 couples, and each of them have at least one kid. In our house last night,
Yeah.
So it was a just raucous affair worth of little. And the oldest
of people
kid,
in here.
the oldest kid was 5 years old.
Yeah, Landry. Yeah.
Landry was
Yep.
5, and you know the youngest there was a couple of like
Infants.
several months olds. But the tantrum was not so much an Elsie tantrum as it was an everybody tantrum. At some point in the night, every kid was pissed about something.
Oh, man.
But the dad hack that goes along with it, I mean, it was somebody stole somebody else's toy, or somebody
gosh.
else got pushed down on the bouncy house, or the pool was cold and somebody had the water gun and shot him with it. It was everybody was upset about something at some point.
Leaving.
Yeah, I didn't want to leave. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you dealt with that a little bit. But at one point in the night, I made eye contact with Liv, my wife, and we both go, "Where's Elsie?" Because, you know, it's in a fenced-in backyard. It's like she
Right.
can't get anywhere, but also it's like there's sharp stuff somewhere. Inevitably, she's going to try and find it. And so we're both kind of, not frantically, but just kind of, okay, where's the kid?
Right.
She had made her way back inside and was sitting on the couch upstairs watching football with our other friend. And was just sitting down next to
Man,
Connor. She was just
raising her
in there.
right.
It was so funny. She was sitting in there watching an Oklahoma Sooners football game with Connor on our couch. And so the dad hack alert kind of came out to like find that. I've joked about it before, but find that community.
Oh,
Find that circle.
Oh, absolutely.
Find that circle of friends and dads and moms and people that you can surround yourself with, where it's just like, yeah, I mean, for just a second there, I was worried about it, but also everybody has got their eyes out
Right.
for everybody's
Right.
kid. And so, you know, if somebody gets a little too close to the pool, or somebody's getting ready to fall off of the step, anybody's going to reach over and hook an arm
Right.
or whatever. And so it's just finding that community, and it was just demonstrated for me last night while we had all those folks over. It was a lot of fun.
For real, because I know, you know, Allie was working last night, so,
Yeah,
so I
you were solo dadding.
brought both boys over, and I was kind of worried like coming over here because I was like, oh, man, how am I going to, you know, keep my eye on both of them? But then, yeah, I soon realized like, yeah, having all of our friends here, it's like, oh, they keep an eye out for him while I'm watching this one, and vice versa. And like, it's just a huge stress reliever. So,
Well, at one point I looked over and Steph just had your youngest just kind of wrapped up in a little ball. And
Yeah,
this one's mine now.
yeah,
You guys
he-
can't have
he-
this
He
kid.
jumped in your ice bath, and it was freezing.
Sorry I didn't have the pool heater
Yeah,
on.
it was
Bougie,
freezing. So, yeah,
bougie
she
ass
had him
kids you're
wrapped
raising.
up.
Good
on.
Lord.
I know. I'm sorry.
Well, what about introduce it a little bit?
Yeah. What about you, Ben? What do you got?
Oh,
Dad hacks,
Dad
baby.
hack. Just find some other distraction. Like right now, our little girl's obsessed with going up and down stairs, or following us into my office, or into the bathroom where we have litter boxes or whatever. And it's like, just distract her. We for her birthday, she got a pink and purple basketball goal, Fisher Price goal.
Sweet.
So it's
Start 'em
like,
young.
hey, let's start dribbling or shooting. And I mean, she's just picking it up and rolling it, but
Sure.
she loves to be. Hey, I roll it to you. I'm going to clap because I
Right.
did a big deal. And it's like,
Right.
well, you're one. That's not a huge deal. But her brothers are just sitting there jumping over doing dunks. And it's like, not quite a great idea, guys,
Yeah.
but something fun, right?
But that is pretty cool.
But I do like the distraction thing, though. That's good because you get a chance to just let them be themselves and play a little bit.
Just turn them into something else.
Yeah.
And, if they're losing their mind, find something. Have that one thing.
That's been such a huge deal around our place because Elsie she is firmly in the terrible twos right now to where it's, the drop of a hat. So she's going to start freaking out about something. And so it's all about the redirection.
Oh, absolutely.
It's that mental jujitsu or whatever the one is where the Steven Seagal does where like you go to punch him and he redirects it. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do with Elsie's tantrums is I'm just trying to catch that punch and redirect it over there towards, oh my gosh, is that doll sleepy? We probably better go get that doll and put her in bed, don't you think?
She needs some friends.
She needs some friends. Just, holy crap, please don't yell at me anymore. Please, I love you so much, but please stop yelling at me.
For real, the things you come up with to distract your kids.
Well, you're the master of like the creative redirect. I mean, there have been several stories that you've told on here where it's like, I never would have gotten there. Holy shit, I'm stealing that right now.
Yeah, yeah, man, it's tough, and I don't even know where like I come up with them or where other dads come up with them. You just think of them, at the time, and it works. And,
that's an act of desperation,
right? I mean, and the thing is like it changes all the time because it's like with Liam, he's into trains and then he's into cars and then he's into action figures and Brody, it changes weekly too. So it's just Again, back to what Ben was saying, figuring out what works on the distraction.
No, but
it
it does take a community and finding that community to help out and know, hey, look, I can leave one kid here for 30 minutes or whatever in a room with other kids. Some parent is going to be on top of them and watch them, make sure they don't eat.
Well, and plus you married a rock star when it came to that part of it too.
I got lucky on that one.
You, Kim kicks ass and takes names in the best way possible. So you did a great job there.
Before I forget.
Yeah.
It's talking about boots. She was actually in a boot at his wedding.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's a good.
I forgot about that.
What did she do? I do remember
stress
that.
fracture.
That's what doing. What was she doing? It just happened.
Yoga.
Yeah, sure.
Walking.
Rotary basketball.
Rotary basketball.
Standing in the stands. She's jumping out of her seat, so excited about Ben Duncan. That's right. God, I had forgotten about that. That's really funny.
Man.
God, I quit talking about boots around me. I'm the only one that hasn't been in one. Shitheads are gonna get tear my Achilles for no reason over here. So we alluded to the age of your kids, 11, 8, and 1.
Yep.
Talk about bigs and littles. Talk about like the decision to not start over, but continue almost a decade later.
It was a constant battle between Kim and I.
Sure.
It was one of those where she wanted to. Then I was like, no, I'm two. I've got two kids. I got two boys.
Right. Sure. Yeah.
We've got basketball. We've got a routine.
I got you.
I'm good. We're done. Yeah. Well, she's the youngest of 4, so
that was a losing battle.
I quickly lost out.
Not to be crass, but she also has some things she can throw at you.
She does have some things.
so that can also be a problem.
But spring of 21, we got pregnant.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, this is going to be great. Right after COVID, shut everything down for however long.
Right.
Her mom got sick, and then we actually ended up losing the baby about halfway through.
Yeah.
Maybe a third of the way through. And so it was that was a difficult, but it's very common.
Mm-hmm.
And in moms talking to mom, and that's another thing. Have your wife find a mom's group.
Oh,
because they're fantastic.
Preach.
Because they've all been there, done that, or someone has, and the support group that she's got right now is top notch.
Awesome.
Lost that one, had a couple issues. Said I want to try again, and I was like, well, we'll roll the dice, see what happens.
Sure.
I mean,
If it happens, it happens.
yeah, exactly. I was like, I'm closing in on 40. It's not that big a deal, or 41, I guess.
Sure.
So ended up getting pregnant. Found out we were pregnant right at Christmas of 22.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Christmas 22. Found out we're pregnant. Okay, great. Go to my cousin's wedding in Florida. She gets COVID. And that was the win. Yeah. My wife had COVID twice while pregnant.
Oh.
I tore my Achilles.
It just keeps getting better.
That year, 2022, was just awful for my family. But
Good
we had the
Lord.
support.
Yeah.
I had a blood clot issue after my Achilles surgery. And so Thursday at work, I left, went home, ended up in the hospital. Kim's like, what do I do? I got the kids at school. I was like, hey, call our neighbors. They're great people. They took the kids, fixed them dinner. Kim came home at 7, and it was great.
Yeah.
And they didn't miss a beat.
Good.
I mean, it was just
Dang.
perfect.
Good.
But finding that. But happy note, little girl's 1, healthy. Everything's fine.
Sure.
Like I said, big gap between 7 and newborn at that time.
Yeah, for sure.
Lots
Big
of
adjustment for the
discussions.
boys, too.
Big adjustment. Will struggled a little bit. He had a little bit of anxiety about it, and that came out with him just going to school. And so that was a big struggle, just going to school. And it's like,
That's right.
you have one job, bud.
Yeah.
You have one job. Go to school.
Right?
Yeah.
Got him on some anti-anxiety medications, and found one that works for him, and he's been doing great with it.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
He didn't want to go to basketball. And
that's
I was
like his love, too.
That's his love.
Sure.
I mean, that's second nature to him. So finding that and getting him, the help he needed was great for us.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you started to talk about it, but you just mentioned it in passing. Did you guys have like specific sit-down conversations with them about here's what's coming? Here's what to do. Did you guys talk to them about that?
Yeah. Yeah, so they came up. Oh, we're gonna have a new baby in the family. Great, we'll be able to play and do this and
Right.
that. And it's like, she's a couple of years from hitting the golf course.
Different kind of play. Different kind of play, boys.
Let's just
More of a
remember
sit and
that.
watch for a while.
But it was so sweet. Both kids are great with her. Will actually put her down for a nap this morning.
What?
Read her books, laid her down, and within 2 minutes she was asleep. It was perfect.
Dude.
As an 11-year-old looking out for his little
So you're making
Jealous.
this third child thing seem pretty easy right now.
You got
Okay?
built-in babysitters too,
Yeah.
because they can kind of play and watch each other,
Yeah, sure.
which is a lot of fun. But
Dude, that's the best. That's the most ringing endorsement I've heard
Right?
for
I
the third
know.
kid.
That's
Holy crap.
But he'd also go, she pooped. Dad, you're up. It's like, thanks, buddy.
Well, you got
Appreciate
part
that.
of it. Can't do it all.
No, can't do it all.
That's
But
awesome.
it's fun. The big gap. It was scary at first, but it's like, well, it's what's another kid, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Sure.
It's
That's what I was going to ask you. Is there any like glaring differences between having two boys in your young 30s versus a little girl in your young 40s?
young 40s.
Yeah.
40s young 40s.
Sure.
Early.
Whatever you want to say, big guy.
Really right now there's not a whole lot different other than the whole house has gone pink, but it's really opened my middle child's eyes, Clay. He won't pick up chocolate milk. He won't carry a cup that's had chocolate milk in it. He hates chocolate.
Okay.
Which is
Really?
yeah,
For a
exactly.
kid?
I'm
that's
finding
crazy,
Elsie's the same way.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
But he hated pink. He wouldn't do anything pink. This kid shoots more baskets with this pink ball on the pink and purple basketball goal than I ever thought he would.
Yeah.
So
So it's a shift.
It's
Introduce
just-
that little
but
sister
it's
in,
just
man.
a redirection.
Sure.
I mean, she's crawling all over the place. We got 4 steps out of her last night.
Awesome.
Yeah. So
Oh, man.
it's a lot of fun. So it's bringing all that back, but it's also a week after she was born. We're back at the Field House watching Will play basketball.
Yeah.
good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude.
Because life doesn't stop.
No,
particularly
not
when
at
you
all,
got
right.
3 other ones and they're well into sports like your kids
Oh,
are.
yeah.
Like life
It's
doesn't quit.
nonstop. I mean, I look at my schedule Sunday. I'm like, okay, how many games, how many practices, how many of this,
Yeah.
how many of that do we have? And
Well, I mean, when we were scheduling to do this podcast, we're doing
right.
it on a
Yeah.
Sunday
yeah,
because Ben was like, well, yeah, I've got 5 different practices this next week. 3 of them are on Thursday, so that's not going to work. It's like,
Right.
good Lord, man.
Yeah.
well, but helping out bedtime, whether it's me distracting or redirecting the older two. So,
Sure.
So Kim can put the older one or the youngest one down,
Mhm.
or vice versa. And
Right.
they're at the age where we're talking about fits earlier. They're at the age you take an iPad away from them or TV or whatever, and
Sure.
they just lose
It's
their
the end
mind.
of the
They
world.
just
Yep.
lose their shit, and it's like,
Yep.
guys, give me a break.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
um,
In the realm of problems, boys,
Right.
this is small
losing
potatoes.
your iPad is not a big deal.
Right, right. For real.
But explain that to a 10-year-old.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But it's redirection.
Sure.
It's, hey, you can have 10 more minutes once you put your clothes away, once you brush your teeth, once you find, and it's different bedtime routines, right? The younger kids, you have snack or bath, dinner, bath, snack, bed, and bottle or whatever. Where the older kids, it's just a little different.
Well, yeah. I mean, we've had a couple of people on that have talked about the routine, and you talked about that in the before we started recording a little bit, like how important the routine is, and as the kids get older, I think that makes it even more important because it shortens the process,
right?
Because if you let it get away from you, it'll take 2 hours.
Oh yeah,
right.
Definitely.
Because we're going to read our 17th book for the 4th time,
right?
Or you get one of these. I don't want to badmouth YouTube videos too much right now.
Yeah.
But these guys that they just play video games, and my kids will sit there for hours.
Oh, are they into the
Let's
Play stuff?
What are we doing?
Yeah.
But coming home from a gymnastics practice or a basketball game or baseball or whatever sport they're doing at that, picking up dinner or fixing dinner at home. Once they turn that TV on, it's like I've got a finite amount of time before they're going to lose their mind. So I have to redirect them away from the TV after so long,
right.
Or hey, you got 10 minutes. That's it.
I was going to say you put a time
right.
limit on it, and they understand time at that point too.
Yeah.
So it's not like.
But it's also, hey, you need to go to bed at a certain time because school
Right.
starts at 7:20, and so
true.
you need to get in bed by a certain time. So I can get in bed by a certain time.
Right.
Well, and I've heard that the school that your kids go to, the drop-off line is a freaking nightmare.
Cluster ball.
And you guys live basically right across the street from that place,
Yeah,
and it's still a mess.
It's 2 solid drivers from the house, and it's.
But that's still ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh,
I've heard
absolutely.
that because
Yeah.
Carter was telling me
Yeah.
about how long it took
Yeah,
to
they
get
got
all
a
that
similar
done.
route, but it's one of those that if I leave my house, it's so they don't open the doors for
Which is a
drop-off
whole
till
nother weird
7.
thing to me. But sorry, please continue.
Well, yeah, it gets worse too.
Gets
the more
worse.
and more I talk to other people, it gets worse because of what they're supposedly talking about inside school. But
Got it.
If I leave my house at 6:45, I can get onto the school parking lot. If I leave my house at 6:50, I can't, and I'm turning left against oncoming traffic, turning right, and it becomes the old bar situation where one in, one out.
Yeah,
And you're trying to fight a crosswalk, and it's a fiasco. But I'm at work by 7. If things go well, I'm at work by 7:10.
So and that's where we like Elsie's drop off at daycare is between 7:30 and 9, and if I can get there at 7:30, I can get to the office by 7:45. But if I get there at 7:45, I'm then fighting the rest of traffic all the way through town. And not that traffic in Springfield, Missouri is that big of a deal, but like it's worse at certain times. And so having to fight my way down Glenstone, it's like, holy shit, it's 20 minutes to get from the middle of town to just like a little bit south. It's really not that big a deal.
Yeah.
But
So you just mentioned that, and it made me think about dropping off kids, because whenever I tore my Achilles, that was one of the big things that I couldn't do because it was my right foot.
Yep.
And I would drive myself, but I was like, there's no way I'm driving the boys.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that was all on Allie to drive the boys, take them wherever.
Yep.
So
I'm sure your friendly insurance agent loves hearing that.
He also drove over here on a bum leg a couple of times. I'm like, what are you doing, buddy?
Yeah.
It's close. It's really close.
It's
I can
so
get
close.
there.
There's no stop
It's
lights.
neighborhoods only. I can
Couple
do it.
Stop signs.
Great, Derek.
He was
Great.
sick. And I made it through it. Right?
There were a couple of
What
instances
doesn't
where
kill
I
you
went
makes
over
you stronger. Okay.
I did go pick him up a couple of
But
times.
it's also that one-on-one time or that one-on-two time
Yeah.
with the kids in the car. And it's just, it's 10, 15 minutes and explaining, hey, there's, here's why we do this. Here's why we're doing drop-off. Or, hey, here's a schedule for after school.
Right.
Getting them involved.
Well, yeah.
Getting them invested in the process.
Well, I was gonna say, just routines. That's the best part about routines. At least what I've noticed with my boys is like, do the same thing every night. Well, they know what to expect, and so they don't really deviate from it. You know, like you're saying, like our routine is dinner, play, movie, milk, bed. And so now they just turning the movie off at the end of the night. I mean, most nights isn't that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Well, what triggers the biggest tantrums in your households, if not an unexpected change?
Unexpected. Yep.
Right? Like,
the nail on the head
all right,
there, man.
it's time to leave. What do you mean? And then they're freaking out.
Yep.
And instead of giving them the 5-minute
Yep.
runway,
Yep.
the
Yep.
2-minute runway, the 1-minute runway, it's the same deal. If the routine, they know what to expect. So it's not any like, what do you mean we have to get out of the tub?
Right. Yep.
It's like, no, because we get out of the tub because the next thing is jammies and teeth brushing and milk or whatever. So, yeah. It's just...
Yeah, I made fun of my wife before we had kids for how strict she was going to be on her routine, and now it's like, if we are off by nap time by 20 minutes, even I'm like, wow, we can't do that.
No.
We gotta be home.
Well, we always, and that is one thing I had on my notes for this was comparing yourself to other parents. You know, and each generation is different.
Don't do it.
And not only each generation, but friends that I have that have 16, 18-year-olds. You know, my kids think a tablet comes when they're born, and that's how it is. You know, it's like, well, now hold on.
Interesting point.
But we won't give our kids phone time. We won't give them device time. We won't whatever. And it's like,
you're not a parent yet,
right? Yeah, exactly. And in today's society, I mean, that's just how it is. And so yesterday we were actually having breakfast. We had family pictures taken at 8 a.m. at Fellows Lake. Went to First Wash for breakfast afterwards, or brunch, or whatever 9:30 meal is.
Depends who you are.
Second breakfast.
As we were leaving, well, yeah. What are you saying, Brian?
No comment. I'm the same way, buddy.
As we're leaving, this guy grabbed my shoulder and said, "Hey, you have a very well-behaved, loving family. It was awesome to sit by you guys
That's cool.
today."
Wow.
And I was like, "Oh my gosh," because Will and Clay just sat and played on mine and Kim's phone the entire time.
Sure.
But my uncle came over. He actually picked up our tab. He came over and said hi, and the kids got up, gave him a hug, and then Lola just sat there and smiled and cooed, and once she eats, she just starts jabbering away about whatever.
That's awesome.
You know, that's what he saw, and it's like, that's what you want to hear,
right?
You know, I mean,
that's the goal,
an outsider
right?
that you don't know saying that. You know, it's one thing if a friend says it,
Sure,
but friends also, you know, they're in
mostly because I don't trust them.
They're in your inner group. Well, but I mean,
I'm joking.
No, I
I'm
get
joking.
it. I get it. But I mean, you know, if your kid's losing their ever loving mind on what because it's time to go or whatever, it's
sure.
How can you, you know. I'm not saying you're a single dad, but last night you had to be here by yourself with two kids, and it's like, how can you corral two kids to get them out of here?
It's tough.
It's you know, you give them the 5-10 minute warning or whatever it is, and you find your routine to get them out of there.
Yeah, my secret was go take Brody, put him in the car seat while all the other parents watch my older one. Then come back and throw the older one over my shoulder and
screaming and kicking and yelling.
Strap him. That was my secret.
Yeah. It takes a village.
Well, Ben, we've mentioned it a couple times on here. You tore your Achilles, and as a guy that has unfortunately experienced that myself, I know how much it sucks. But trying to dad with when you're basically immobile is pretty difficult. And you told us that you had your two boys when this happened, and then your wife is pregnant with your third.
Yep.
And you blow out your Achilles. And now you're basically no help.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Useless.
So what was that like for you trying to be a dad when you really can't do a whole lot?
You know, you got to kind of compartmentalize things, right? I had one kid that had baseball evaluations coming up between surgery.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So I'm in the cast.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, I can't take him out and pitch to him.
Yeah.
I can't play catch with them. So
Man, that's tough.
I kind of dragged a couple chairs out on the back patio and put my foot up and tried to play catch, but he was 7'6" at the time.
Yeah,
not real accurate.
No, and I'm like, I can't chase the ball. So
you better hit me right here, kid, because I'm not getting
right here to here. That's it. There's no range here.
That's when you bring Gary in. All right, Dad, you stand here. You catch, and then I'll throw.
Actually, Dad would take him and
Good.
throw balls.
I had a feeling that your dad probably would.
Yeah.
No,
well, being retired,
sitting around twiddling his thumbs playing golf. I know how that works.
Taking a lot of walks. But I made it to every game, which and some practices I made it to. Other times we kind of divide and conquer.
Sure. Yeah. Did you do the rolly stroller cart thing like he did? Put your knee down on it, scooter thing?
Yeah, but I wasn't brave enough to take it to work because I knew guys would put streamers and crap all over.
That's funny.
Yeah, I could see your gang doing that. That's a good point. I hadn't thought about that.
So I left that at home, and I kind of treated it like 2020 and worked from home quite a bit.
Sure.
Because with cell phones and email and computers,
it's doable.
You can be about anywhere right now.
Well, and you're the office tech guru anyway.
Oh, so I do a little computer stuff. So.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, that's one thing. I say one thing. There's probably a few things I realized.
Well, yeah, you two have this in common, which is why I'm excited to hear about this.
And kudos to Ben, like as soon as it happened, I think maybe 1 or 2 days later, he shot me a call. He's like, dude, I know it sucks. here's what you're gonna go through.
Yeah.
Right? X, Y, and Z. He just sends me all these Amazon links. He's like, look, here's what worked well for me is if you get this and do this and buy that, And I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, seems like a lot. And then you start going through and you're like, wow, yeah.
He knew what he was talking about.
Super, it's like this guy did it too, But yeah, no, you realize
just 12 months before.
Yeah, literally a year apart in the exact same basketball tournament. It's the same shit.
Like, almost to the day. Yeah.
It might have been the day, honestly.
Pretty damn close.
Yeah, March 20th.
Yep.
Yep. R.I.P. my Achilles. Yep. But yeah, no, you realize it sucks, right? You really learn to appreciate your wife.
Oh, absolutely.
And how awesome she is. But then too, man, it's at least for me, it made me realize like how much stuff I took for granted because like I was talking about, and you kind of mentioned it there, playing catch with your son, but my boys are in a big phase of hey, chase me right now, and I was just laid up. I couldn't even chase them. Be like, Dad, chase me, and you're like, oh man, I want to, but
where can I get this scooter?
That hurts. But yeah, I mean, luckily the scooter did come in pretty clutch, and that was like a big toy for them. But yeah, man, it's
I guess you could take Nerf darts and shoot at them as they run through.
Now you're talking
See,
what's that? Duck
See, that is the other fun thing. Is kids at the age that you've got?
Yeah.
That's a game. If they're losing their mind, hey, we're going to play a new game. I'm going to try to hit targets, you guys.
You too.
As you guys are running through an area.
I love that.
Just
dad hunt. Instead of duck hunt, we're going to call it dad hunt.
Or, I mean, we were doing this last night in your yard. With,
yes, we were.
With Liam and Landry. Hey, go, I mean, you can call it fetch, but it's like I'm going to throw this ball, basically to the end of the yard. You go grab it, bring it right back to me while I'm sitting in my chair.
Yeah.
Oh, God, it was really. And then at another point, the dads were all like reliving their high school days, like throwing a football, running routes, trying to throw footballs.
How do shoulders feel today?
It was more somebody like trying to make a cut. It's like, oh, God.
That or the hands of stone. I don't know how many dropped balls.
Just bricks for hands. There were several instances where you throw it at somebody's chest and it hits them in the hands and they drop it. It's like, oh, hit me in the worst place
where
ever.
Am I supposed to hit you?
Yeah. But at a certain point, the kids were just running back and forth to whoever had the ball.
Oh, yeah.
So they didn't even care if they were getting to touch the ball, really. It was just following whoever had the ball all the way around the circle.
It was great. It wore my boys out. They slept.
Oh, Elsie
slept
was,
like champs last
I mean,
night.
what is normally an hour plus long process, she was out in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It was bang, out.
You learn to recognize those cues. It's like, oh, this kid's tired. Okay, we can skip this and this in bedtime routine.
Preach.
Go straight to bed.
Bath time's going real fast.
Instead of $5, it's one, and I mean, Lola now, our 1-year-old, is figuring out I can close the book, and it's like if she's closing the book a certain way, it's like she's done.
That's enough.
Put her in bed.
Yeah, that was like Liam on the way home. I mean, we live 5 minutes from each other and not far.
Yep.
We'd just get out of your driveway, and he's like, Dad, I'm tired. I'm ready for bed. I'm like, yes, you are. Yes, you are. Right?
Because his wife was also out of town working, so he's also doing bedtime solo dad.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But, it was worth it, for sure.
So did the boys, like, recognize, though, that, like, Dad's hurt, so I can't go jump on him? Because I know that was something that he struggled with. Did they were they able to identify that?
Wrestle around and I mean, once they knew if I was standing, they couldn't jump on me.
Sure.
If I was sitting on the couch, maybe. It kind of depends on how high my foot was elevated.
Well, and they were a little older at that time too,
and so I kind of understood. But it was also Kim was pregnant, 6 months pregnant, so
also can't go jump on mom.
4 months pregnant, so can't go jump on mom. But it was sweet because they'd go up and kiss her belly.
Oh, sweet, yeah, that's awesome.
They still kind of did, or they did for a while afterwards. And I was like,
fellas, you're making mom uncomfortable. Cut it out.
It's sweet, but it's not.
Now it's just weird, guys. She's baby's here, so
So what about with mom? I know, obviously, I love your wife. She's a really cool person. And so I would imagine that you two had some time working together, figuring out, particularly as kids came around, figuring out traditions, whether it's holidays or birthdays or whatever. Because you and I have talked about this before. So what did you guys do to kind of navigate that? Because they're all local, too.
Oh, yeah.
So it's figuring out those.
We both went away to college and then came back.
Yeah.
And birthdays. I don't know why, but for some reason she started putting party streamers on their birthday the night before their birthday.
Like over their doors?
Over the doorway.
Nice.
And
I
so
like
they
that.
open their door, and it's like, as a 1-year-old, it's like, whatever. But as a 2-year-old, it's like, holy
This is the
crap,
coolest
this
thing
is
ever.
cool,
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and then the big balloons, and I was like, oh, man, we still do it for our 11-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
We did it for Will this year.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And so it's,
But has he come to expect it and now he really loves it because it's a thing, or is he just kind of humoring mom and dad at a certain point?
I think it's just humoring mom and dad.
Got it.
Because the other part of that is like Christmas traditions. So he's on the other side of the Santa Claus debate.
Oh,
He knows.
Okay.
Oh, no.
But
So did you have to
but
have that
there's-
talk with him
there's-
about you don't screw this up for your brother?
There's 4 stages of Santa Claus, right?
Tell me more about
you
this.
believe in it. You know it's the parents, and you're in on it, and then you're the parent who's doing it.
Sure.
And the 4th stage, you look like Santa Claus.
Touche. That's pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty solid. I like that a lot. It's like there's 4. What are we talking about?
But he's
really
in
good.
on it now. So hiding that.
That's
we
a
did
great
we
idea.
did an elf a couple years ago, and I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I mean, that thing's the bane of my existence. Hiding it, but it's fun.
Yeah.
But Kim grew up where mom and dad didn't give Christmas presents. Santa did.
It was a Santa only.
And each person had their wrapping paper.
Mm.
Well, I came from, you guys, some parents from mom and dad, some gifts from
I
mom
know
and
what
dad,
you're saying.
some gifts from Santa Claus.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had to figure out Christmas Eve of how to blend this and how to make
Right.
it work.
Yeah.
And
So what'd you
it's-
arrive on?
We've kind of changed it a little bit every once in a while.
Mhm.
Sometimes, for whatever reason, we have a tree in their room. Now it's just a little 2-foot tall tree, but the kids love it.
Sure.
So we would occasionally put a present in there, and they'd bring it into our room and unwrap it on Christmas Day.
Oh, cool.
And then on the flip side, sometimes the rest of the presents from Santa Claus that were wrapped would be in that same wrapping paper.
Got it.
So
Recognize who's who.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
it's just kind of blended, trying to figure out the
Right.
best way to do this.
Fun.
And make it fun, because some of those traditions are fun to go with, and others it's
Right.
like
It's a bit
start
much.
something new.
What are we
Let's
doing?
go. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, and you were talking about the streamers for the birthday. I saw, it was an Instagram reel or something where a dad, he had an 11, 12, 13-year-old, but every single year he spent the evening before their birthday blowing up balloons and filled the hallway in front of her bedroom with balloons.
Yeah.
Like 10-year-old height in the hallway. So he was blowing up like
Right.
200 balloons or
Yeah,
some
I
crazy
hope he has
shit.
One of those machines.
And,
Yeah, no kidding.
But that was like his thing, and he was
Yeah.
really excited about doing it
Yeah.
every year. But as kid, he had it on video every year, and he just this gigantic,
Yep.
huge smile on this little girl's face.
Yeah.
And you saw her grow up
Yep.
Yeah.
at, like you said, 1, don't know what the hell's going on.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
2, oh, there's balloons, holy shit.
Yeah.
3, going nuts,
Right. Yeah.
absolutely
Yeah.
doing backflips. Holy crap, look at how cool all this is. And then 5, 6, 7, 8, they're still having fun. And then it was just really cool to see like those kind of traditions develop, and then you really get to see. Because I really like those, like take a picture of your kid every single day for 10 years kind of videos where you can see them growing up or
Yeah.
whatever. But it was kind of fun to see the balloons and stuff. Do you guys have anything going like that with
Well,
your little ones?
You made me think whenever you said the elf on the shelf thing was the bane of your existence. I like,
I'm hoping that
there's
does not
so,
make it to my
there's
house.
so many times. Yeah. There's,
Shut up, Ben. Don't fuck
But
this
for real,
up.
there's so many times, like as a parent, like you're doing something for your kids, and you're like, "This sucks. I hate doing this. Why am I doing this?" But then next morning they wake up and they experience it and they just light up.
It's like,
and
oh,
you're like,
that's why.
This is so
there
worth
it was. That's
But
why.
it's
Right.
seeing them light up, seeing them smile, seeing them talk to their brother or sister,
Yeah.
or grandparents about it, because everyone's in on it, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
It's like, okay, it was 5 minutes of my time,
Right.
2 minutes,
It wasn't
Yeah.
that big a
and
deal.
they have a blast
Yep.
doing it.
Yep.
So
Well, and if you're, I am not the most creative person in the world, so having to come up with like a creative thing, like for the elf specifically,
Oh, yeah.
right? Like having to come up with some creative idea for the elf thing, I'm in so much trouble if that ever happens, because fortunately I'm married to a creative, so hopefully Liv will have the good ideas, because I am not good at that shit at all.
hide it.
Well, but then you got to do the little like story behind it and all that hoopla too, because I've seen the Bades do that for years.
Well,
And it's
Hey,
like,
it's
God
your
dang.
tradition. You do what you want to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
You
I'm
make
just
you
not
make
do it.
Your tradition.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going to hide it to where you can't find it, and then it's going to come out the night before. So you better be careful because she's going to come out the night before
Right.
I saw
Christmas.
something in spring of 20 where the COVID got the elf. And
Oh.
it's like,
And that was how they got rid of the elf. Holy crap!
That's terrible, but so
That's
funny at
terrible.
the same time.
I think it was just a
So
meme
good.
online.
Oh,
That was
that's
so
good.
funny.
That's good. No, I mean we have we're similar to Ben. We kind of combine our traditions because Allie's family cracks me up with birthdays and holidays. It's like you got to do them on the exact day.
Sure.
And you got to do X,
Oh, that
Y,
was-
Z. And my family's very laid back. Like
Mhm.
just kind of go with the flow. But then too, I love just making up your own traditions. On
Oh,
top,
absolutely.
right?
Yeah,
And so that's
100%.
that's something that we've had a lot of fun. Like a Christmas one that we started doing was because the books are the kids are in the reading book phase,
Mhm.
and so we open a book from December 1 till Christmas
Awesome.
Eve.
Sweet.
And we get to read, and it's Christmas themed, so we get to read that book. So that's like one of them that we have that's our own tradition that we made. But
We got to figure out a tradition in my house to get rid of some of the toys.
oh my gosh, yes,
Dude.
If you figure that out, let me know.
Well, after we had all the kids in the house last night and the cleanup
Your
from
house
about 8 o'clock
Looked
until
like
10
a
o'clock last
bomb
night.
went off in here. I felt
Holy
bad
shit.
leaving this place. I was like, ugh.
Well, I got to go be a single dad.
Yeah,
tonight, so good luck to you.
It sucks for living, Bryant, but I'll
I
go
don't
home.
know what kind of yahoo decided it was a good idea. Have you guys seen the little palm?
Oh, thank you for bringing that
those
up.
those
'cause
little
I was
like
gonna say
the
that.
little they're not even really squishy balls. They're like, I don't know what the actual function of them is other than maybe just this, but it's like multicolored little fabric balls of different sizes, and some of them have little furry things on them, and some of them are just little fluff balls, and some of them are made of felt, whatever. Liv bought 2 boxes of them.
It's a lot.
2 bags of them, and then
It's
they're in
a
a little
lot.
plastic container, and then she's got little tongs. And so it was originally like a hand-eye coordination, small motor movement kind of, we're going to pick up one at a time thing.
Yeah.
But now it's just like a fun thing. And I walk in the playroom, and Brody is
I was
sitting
like,
in a pile in the
that's
middle
Brody's
of
fault. I'm sorry. He takes that box out.
2
and
handfuls.
just jumps it.
And then, but then he's sitting in the middle of it going,
Thrown him.
So it's full of LeBron James.
Yeah, basically.
that's exactly what it was. I was laughing, Mike, because I walked in the room and she went, that's funny.
Right. I was sitting there and they're starting to go into the kitchen and stuff. I'm like, oh man, keep these
Oh,
in here,
dude.
Brody. But it was too funny not to.
But at the end of the day, he was like
stop.
the 4th kid to do the same thing. So it's like, I'm not really that worried about it. But I say all of that to say, I think one of our traditions is going to be like, hey, maybe we should send these toys to somebody else who needs them because you haven't touched this baby in 12 years, or you haven't messed with. I've got 40 different colors of Play-Doh open right now in my house.
Yeah.
Fortunately, she knows to go get like a piece of construction paper that lives under the couch to set it on the carpet before we start playing with it, because for a while there, it was just Play-Doh directly on the carpet or the rug in the playroom, and it's caked on that rug in there.
Yep. No, I think it was probably around Christmas time this previous year. Allie kind of did like a toy cleansing where she put a bunch of them in like boxes and then just threw them in the closet.
Yep.
We literally haven't got them out since. And I'm
Time
like,
to take them to
right?
the
That's what I'm
DAV
thinking.
or wherever.
That's what I'm
Go
thinking. I'm
donate
like,
them,
let's
maybe.
just get rid of them.
Toys
'cause
for
the boys,
Tots,
the
whatever
boys
it
don't
is.
notice them, you know. And a lot of them now, they're probably the boys are too old to even really be messing with them anyways. So,
Well, yeah, I'm with you.
but Ben, another thing we've kind of grown to ask every dad is about
It's a thing,
sports,
man. It's
right?
a thing. We got to talk about it.
So we always ask dads, do you coach your son's teams? Are you going to try to coach your son's teams? And talk a little bit more about, especially with 2 boys, right?
Yeah.
And a college athlete. I think that's an important part too, because we've had a handful of guys that played sports in college on the show, and it's interesting to see how different guys react to it.
Yeah.
So, I know your position on this. I'm excited to hear it.
I'd love not push my kids into sports, but directing them into
Right.
it, right? I mean, that's
Encouraging.
We got it. Yeah, strongly encouraging. I mean, Fisher Price basketball goal.
At one?
She's going to be dunking soon.
Well, I've got 2. One's got the net cut off because one kid won a championship against the other, so they cut the net. Yeah,
I love that.
That's so funny, Ben. Holy shit, I love that.
But it's not a competitive house.
No.
Well, okay.
It's not just that, but we've got one goal on one side of the house, one on the other, and then every doorway has a goal on the door.
I love this.
I mean, I'm talking 6 goals in a room a little bigger than this.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I've always encouraged my kids to do sports.
Right. Yeah.
I grew up doing them. I love them. It kept me out of trouble.
Sure.
A lot of the times. I mean, I still got in trouble, but we all did, right?
It's a different kind of trouble, right?
But encouraging them and seeing a kid succeed. I've coached both my kids at basketball and soccer and helped out in baseball on both. And I try not to. They were 5 and 6, right? They're not going to the NBA. I mean, the chance of them going to the NBA anyways is ridiculously low, right?
Sure.
But can they learn and grow from something?
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, there's more to be taken away from sports than just the athletic pursuit.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? Like, there's way more to be taken from that than just that.
Yeah.
So,
but encouraging them to try something new. Don't be afraid to fail. Learn, grow, work hard at it.
Yeah.
The day I got out of the boot and I was officially cleared to walk, my son talked me into taking him to a gym to go shoot. So I'm on one foot trying to
get those steps in, Dad.
trying to rebound.
Man.
But I know a lot of people have looked at me and said, "Well, you're just trying to live through your kids, or you just want to see, it's like I'm just supporting them."
Yeah.
Right.
One thing my dad has told me this for years, that there was a parent meeting whenever I was in kindergarten about soccer, maybe first grade, and the dad that was hosting the meeting said, "Look, guys, we have practice 1 day a week for an hour, and we have 1 game a week. You want your kids to get better. They're not going to get better in that 1 hour. Get out in the driveway, get out in the backyard, kick a ball, throw a ball, whatever.
Do something.
Just do something with them.
Yeah.
And make it part of routine. Make it part of hey, after dinner, before dinner,
There's an
or
idea.
whatever.
I like that a lot.
And
We're gonna go play catch tonight. We're gonna. Dude, I love that. Honestly, I think that's really cool.
And there's no pressure, but also in talking to some other head coaches, that's when the kids get older. That's when they get better because they're just sitting out there doing the moves or doing the shooting or whatever. And
well, I mean, we all saw or read the stuff about MJ and his dad in the driveway every single night. You don't get to go to bed until you make 100 free throws or whatever it was. You don't have to go that far.
Right.
But if you can make it a routine, you can make it a habit. And then it's just, I saw, again, freaking social media, I saw a girl talking about that she and her dad every single night, I don't remember if it was a volleyball or if it was a softball, but she was basically like hand juggling a ball. And just while she was talking with somebody, it was because every single night that was what my dad and I did.
Yeah.
We would just be sitting in the living room together, but we would be just hand juggling a ball back and forth, just not catching it, not necessarily playing catch, but just getting used to having whatever, I can't remember if it was a volleyball or a softball or a soccer ball, whatever it was something where she was just, getting used to having the ball in and around with her hands, catching it, moving it around, having it around them.
Well, I mean, it's a game. But you're developing hand-eye coordination.
100%.
It's a stupid game where you keep the balloon in the air with your kids.
Keepy uppies, dude, for sure.
Oh, my gosh. But it's a blast.
Yeah.
I remember doing that in high school and college with my little cousins. And I'm like, this is a blast.
This is awesome.
Right? Yeah.
What about gymnastics? So because that is the one that your son is so kick-ass at, but it's also probably something that none of us did past 5 years old.
I had a roommate in college that did gymnastics.
Okay, so
until about junior high.
Okay.
But he had a great party trick. He'd be hammered, right? But if he could get straight up and square for a split second, he could do a backflip.
Oh, nice.
Right. So great party trick.
So standing in an elevator, he's doing a backflip. Jesus.
But it's helped make him so strong. I mean, the kid's strong as a horse. Runs so fast, but it's helped him in every other sport. And so everyone I've talked to, and I've got friends that are college coaches, and they're like, not that I'm talking to them about my son playing. It's just I know them
because you're friends
about whatever, but it's like, hey, as a kid, this we don't have a player that could do that. I mean, it's like the football players, the running backs who are great on Dancing with the Stars because of the footwork they've got. It's just that rolls over and do so many other sports. And gymnastics is not one that I understood growing up. I just still don't understand it really. I mean, it's a blast.
But you can watch him control himself, even just walking down the balance beam.
Oh yeah.
Or has he done any of the stuff with the rings?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I can't fathom the ability to hold yourself out or do any of that stuff with the
my
rings.
sons can do pull-ups.
That's awesome.
I did 2 pull-ups the other day, and I was so excited about that. That's 2 more than I've ever done in my life.
Right, but I mean, it's just that functional working out. I mean, it's they're playing games, they're doing this and that, but it's also about discipline. There's so many things that you can learn from sports that carry over to life.
Yeah.
Showing up, practice starts at 6. Well, you're there by 5:45, ready to go. You're not showing up at 6, 6:01, 6:02.
Right.
Fortunately, we went back, talking about me coaching the kids. It wasn't about me coaching my son. It was about, hey, you need to learn to pass. You need to get this kid the ball. Seeing a kid that couldn't dribble on the first day of practice actually make a basket on the last game.
Yep.
That's awesome for a kid any age, right? And that's what I wanted. And I wanted my son to encourage that.
Cool.
Among their whole team.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
how neat is that?
Right.
Well, and I wanted to ask about the gymnastics thing specifically because it is something that we, I think it's kind of like the secret thing that a lot of parents don't really think of. Because it's like, truly, my parents put me in gymnastics when I was a little kid, but we quit too. Shut up. We quit.
You don't still do that?
You kept with it, obviously.
Yeah, clearly.
It's called CrossFit.
Yeah, exactly. I did that too. It was bad. But it had everything to do with just helping me get my 2 feet under my body.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just learning how to be like, walk and chew bubble gum at the same time, which is still a struggle to me at this point.
Both my sons have 6-packs and they don't work out. I mean, they don't, they don't lift. I mean, it's just strong
core strength.
That's what I was going to say. What other sport is like literally a full body workout?
Right.
I mean, most of them are leg workouts or an arm workout, but gymnastics, that's everything.
Yeah, it's great for us. And it literally started out as Kim wanting to break and taking the kids to a Mommy and Me tumbling class. And when the kid would just
that's what I was going to ask. When did they start?
Years.
Okay. We took
they go just on the other side of the railroad tracks.
Yep.
I was gonna say we took Liam at 2 years and it was
not
it was a shit show. Yeah. And so we haven't been back since.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe we should start.
Well, so at what age did they start?
Start competing?
Just going to like maybe it's the Mommy and Me thing or
about 18 months, 2 years.
Okay, so you didn't say that. All right, I just because I wanted to get Else into that part of it, and mostly so she can, because she runs pretty well at this point, but she still sidewinds a little bit.
Yeah.
She doesn't run with her chest pointed at the direction. She runs like this.
Oh, really?
So her one shoulder, she leads with one shoulder. It's like, hey. That's for football. That's not for you,
sweetheart.
I
was like, she's going to play football, isn't she? Yeah.
She does. She runs like this. It's like, what are you doing, sidewinder?
But it's just help. It's just help raise their base of how strong they are.
Right.
It's bled over into every sport.
Sure.
It's just that, baseball, basketball. I mean, I had Will at a party at Funacre last night, and he was in the batting cage, and I'm like, maybe we need to bring baseball back up into your conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a swing on him.
He's got a swing on him.
Ben, I happen to know you've got some good funny stories about your kids and your spouse. So can I just introduce? Go.
Just go with it, right? It is trying to figure out how to, while potty training your kids.
Sure.
Trying to figure out, when is the best time? Is it best to do it right before bed? Because we got into a habit or routine of making them go to the bathroom, put them in bed, and then waking them up just enough to go pee again before I go to bed.
Oh,
so that maybe they make it till 6.
Yeah, sure.
Or whatever
awesome.
Time, right?
I kind of like that actually.
It was try something different, right? It worked for us. But there were a couple times where Kim or I would go in there and, a little boy, middle of the night.
Pitching a tent.
There was a couple
standing at salute.
Saluting. So we're trying to lean them over at 10 or 11 or 6 a.m. And I literally saw the eye one time. A stream of pee heading right on my face, and I was like, midnight, you're not awake, right? So never got peed on that way, but
Holy shit! It's like you're picking the picture off the wall to kind of direct it all towards the.
Oh, dude!
On the counter. I mean, it's just like, as long as it's not in here, I'll be all right. But
for real, right?
Listen, you got to stand your feet way back and really point yourself at it.
Right. That's what I was going to say, man. I didn't even think about that, but yeah, similar story. Well, first, my wife, she wasn't familiar with that either, right?
Yeah, right.
And,
the phenomenon of morning wood.
So so it would happen to Liam, and she'd be like, "Babe, it's looking at me." And so then I would
it's looking at me.
So
holy shit.
Right? So I would go like, I'm like, it's okay. It happens, right? But
oh my god!
Just the other night, Liam woke up in the middle of the night, had to go pee, right? And sure enough, like you said, saluting to the max there, and he thought of this himself. I didn't even think of this, and so we lift the toilet seat up. And he starts to lean over, and he realizes it's not pointed towards the toilet, right? It's pointed up in the air. And so, like, he bends over, but he's still half asleep, right?
Yeah.
And so he pulls, like, the toilet seat down just enough to where he can, like, rest his chest on the toilet seat.
Holy shit. That's some ingenuity there, boy.
And he's just, like, half asleep, just peeing into the toilet because of this. And I'm like... I don't know. I was a proud dad at that point. I was like, the thought that you thought of that.
There. I mean, that's
when you're 3 years old and half asleep, I'm like, good for you, dude.
Well, it's just the mental picture of the guy in the urinal at the bar, like leaned up way up against the wall. I'm so glad I have a girl.
Lucky you. Set them and forget them.
Exactly. Get the stupid little extra toilet seat inside the toilet seat upstairs, and that's it.
Yeah. That's heard another one the other day. A guy was talking about taking his grandson to a baseball game, and his grandson, jokingly, he's standing 25 feet back, peeing through a Cheerio, in the urinal. Well, I'm sitting, and he's joking, saying, "Well, I'm 70 and I'm dribbling on my shoes because I'm at the urinal."
That's so true.
It is.
That's called get your prostate checked, folks. Get those PSA tests done as well. So I love that. That's where we're ending this. It's so funny. Holy shit.
So now I'm, a couple of years, I'm going to go through the opposite because I'm not a little girl.
Yeah, you're having a whole tonal shift there, baby.
Another different.
I feel like potty training. I don't know. I don't have a girl, but I feel like it's a lot easier.
I think so, mostly because you don't have to deal with directionality. It's just a straight up and down thing for the most part. We're not there yet, to be clear. Elsie has now started every night when we get in the tub. She will look me dead in the face as she squats a little bit and pees in the tub. I'm like, babe, can you just tell me you're going to do that so I can set you on the toilet, you little monster?
Hey, I've got the checklist. It's not on the routine in the tub.
It's out of order.
Not following the routine.
However, Liv was like, I was telling Liv about that this morning, and she goes, well, did you try to put her on the toilet? And I was like, no, I didn't know this was only the third time she'd done it, but first time, it's a thing that just happened. Yeah. Second time, maybe we should look at that. She did it again. Right. Third time, it's a habit. Okay, now we're gonna have to. Okay, we strip down and then we sit on the toilet and we pee and then we get in the tub. So you're not standing there pissing in my freaking shower. So good Lord, this is how we ended the show. Okay, so it is time to get to everybody's favorite part of the episode.
What's everybody's favorite part?
It's Dad Joke of the Week. It's everybody's favorite deal. I know that you love jokes and you're a big funny guy. What kind of dad joke did you bring, Ben?
I brought an oldie.
Nice.
I've heard this one since I was a kid.
Perfect.
Okay.
So what's the difference in beer nuts and deer nuts?
Oh boy, I don't know.
Yeah.
Beer nuts are $1.50. Deer nuts are under $1.
That's pretty good. Yeah,
nice.
I'm into that.
Nice.
That's a good Missouri joke too.
I like that.
Missouri deer farmers. There we go, deer hunters. What about you, DC? What do you got?
Well, did you guys hear about the Mexican magician? No? Okay.
No?
Well, if you guys go down to Cancun, you got to check this guy out, okay?
All right.
Awesome act, okay? He does, he goes through his whole routine, has the card tricks, the rabbit tricks, all this stuff. And to end his routine, he goes, uno, dos. and then he just disappears without a trace.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. I was like, I didn't know how that one would go over, but I was like, we'll try it. We'll see what the guys think.
At first, I was like, "Oh God, where are we going with this?"
Yeah, I'm thinking Mexico.
Whoa. You've been to different parts of Mexico than I have. Okay.
Oh, that's gonna make mine
What
way
about-
less funny.
Oh, no. What you
so, hey guys, what's orange and sounds like parrot or sounds like a parrot?
Carrot.
Did I already tell this joke? Yeah, it's carrot.
I was like, I thought you was wanting one of us to say that. I was like,
No,
me
what's
and Ben look at
orange
each
and
other.
sounds like a parrot? Except I just can't read. So
Oh, okay. Me and Ben look at each other. And it's like, do you want to say it or do
Yeah,
I want to
you
say it?
it's carrot, dumbass. I just can't read. So
Reading's hard. Okay.
hey, really strong end to the podcast there, though. Way to go, team.
I'm glad we saved that joke for last.
God dang it. This is the stupidest shit. Why did I even write that one down? Why did I think that was funny? That must have been middle of the night, Bryant.
Had to be.
Listening
Had to
to
be.
TikToks or some shit.
Couple
That
hot
was
coffees.
after cleaning the house for a few
That's
hours.
exactly right. A couple of beers later. Oh, that's hilarious. I should write that one down. God. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate everybody listening. Where are we
we
at
do.
on the social meteors there?
Yeah, man, I was just pulling that up here. Still growing, so appreciate all of our subscribers, all you guys liking, sharing, commenting on our videos. You know, we're at just under 1,700 subscribers on our YouTube channel. So please continue to do that. Send us your dad jokes, send us your dad hacks. We will ruthlessly steal them, but give you credit for them as well too.
We'll credit you at some point.
Yeah, so please do that.
And I was talking to Ben during the break, and he was talking about one of the investments that he has. He and some friends have a company called Pro Play.
It's actually called Hydration Health Products.
Hydration Health Products, but the product itself,
Product
is Pro Play. Play. And they set up a discount code for the folks that listen to the Decent Dads podcast.
They did.
It's
How cool is that?
Dads Rock 25, DADSROCK 25. To get 25% off your purchase. So check that out.
Where can you find that at, Ben?
Yeah, man.
HydrationHealth.com.
HydrationHealth.com. Check that out. That's pretty awesome stuff. No sugar and 3 times the amount of electrolytes as
Leading sports
leading sports beverages. So check that out.
Helps with Brian's cramps.
Exactly. Helps with the cramps, helps with the hangovers for Derek.
That's right.
So, man, thanks for being here. We hope you had a good
All right,
time.
man.
This was a
Appreciate it,
blast.
guys. Enjoyed
Way to
it.
go,
Great
Decent
job, dude.
Dad.
Enjoyed
Good
it.
job, buddy.
Nice work. Unless anybody else has anything else.
I got nothing.
Ben, thanks for being here,
No
dude.
problem. Thank you.
All
Appreciate
right.
it, guys.
We'll see you next time. Okay.
Relieves muscle cramps too. Can help with your cramping, Brian.
What do you got? Your period?